Brown with Galiji. Welcome to another at-home yoga practice. So hopefully this finds you well, healthy, and strong. But remember, today is a different day than every other day you've had. So please listen to your own body and your own inner teacher. And if that means not doing something that I'm cueing, you have complete permission to have your own practice. I recommend setting up a space that feels peaceful and calm and helps get you into a special mood. So taking your time when you roll out your yoga mat, perhaps lighting a candle, or like I've done, placing a little bit of lavender or an essential oil on a cotton ball or a cloth, just to help set that space, that intention. So with that intention in mind, that sacred space, we're going to go ahead and get started. So find a comfortable seat, ensuring that the flesh has been removed from the sit bones, the spine is long, the shoulders are open and relaxed down the back, the neck is open, the head and the crown are working their way up towards the ceiling as the sit bones are grounding into the mat. Gently allow the eyes to close, becoming aware of your breath. So not trying to change the breath in any way, just aware of the in-breath and the out-breath. And from here, I'll be inviting the bell 3 times. So while you have your awareness focused on the breath, also now allow the sound of the bell to just come into the ears, hearing it all the way from beginning to end with smooth, steady breath. And as the sound of the bell begins to fade, allow the attention to draw more and more inward. Focusing on the breath, smooth, steady, rhythmic, and easy. I'm going to read a brief poem by Dana Faulds called Just by Breathing. With each breath, I take in all the unique outpourings of spirit and eloquent expressiveness of now. With each breath, I let out all my disempowerment and doubt, my arm's length distance from the infinite and real. Just by breathing, I am healed. If you've not yet set an intention for your practice today, I'll invite you to do so now. If no intention comes to mind, perhaps an intention that comes from the poem, I am healed. I am well. I am healthy. Then from here, we're going to begin counting the breath. So So noticing how long the inhale is and how long the exhale is. And then from here, we're going to start working towards a 2-to-1 ratio. So a 2 count exhale to a 1 count inhale. So we're just working on a double long exhale compared to our inhale. So if you're breathing in to the count of 3, then we would breathe out to the count of 6. Or breathing in to the count of 2, then breathing out to the count of 4. So whatever feels natural for you for an in-breath, and then work on having that same length but doubled for an out-breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So continuing to follow the longer exhales. Feeling rooted to the mat. In this space with our breath, we are steady. We are grounded. Taking 2 more of the double length exhales. And then returning to natural breathing. With your intention firmly in mind, we'll begin now the Ujjayi breath, the ocean sounding breath. It's done by gently tightening the back of the throat, making an audible inhale and exhale. So this should be done breathing in and out through the nose if that's possible. Then gently allowing the eyes to float open as we bring the hands comfortably to the knees. And from here, if you're sitting in a cross-legged simple position, we'll change the cross of the legs. Removing once again the flesh away from the sit bones. Feeling the spine long, the crown floating up high while the seat is rooted to the mat. From here, take a deep breath in, extending the arms out to the side and then up overhead, reaching high and tall for the ceiling. On an exhale, bringing the hands to heart center, drawing the energy downward. Next inhale, we'll bring the arms out and up, feeling the length through the fingers and arms. Exhale as the hands come down through heart center. Next inhale, we'll bring the arms out and up. This time, keeping the arms out and up, stretching really high up towards the ceiling while still being rooted down to the mat. On your exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, the arms come out and up. On an exhale, laterally flex the spine to the left. So we're bending to the left. Allow the left hand to come down to the mat, and the right hand will reach up and over. From here, we're going to gently turn the gaze down towards the floor. So gazing down, left hand pressing into the mat, both sit bones pressing into the mat, rooted, grounded, stretching through the right side body. As you're ready to begin your next in-breath, we'll come all the way up, bringing both arms up towards the ceiling, reaching tall. And then when you're ready for an out-breath, hands come down to heart center. Next in-breath, bring the arms out and up once again, reaching high for the ceiling. On an exhale, laterally flex the spine over to the right. Allow the right hand to come down to the ground. It's rooted. The left arm's going to reach up and over as the gaze comes down towards the floor. So feeling the right hand pressing into the mat and the floor. Feeling both sit bones grounded. The gaze is down, attention inward, breath smooth and easy. As we feel that nice extension through the whole left side body, through our ribs. We get ready for the next inhale, we'll come all the way up, bringing both arms up overhead, reaching tall for the ceiling. And on an exhale, bring the hands towards heart center. Next inhale, the arms will come out and up once again. This time on an exhale, we're going to twist the torso towards the left knee. We'll bring the left hand now down behind you and the right hand will come over to the left knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, maybe twisting a little more over to the left. Gaze is still slightly down. Inhale, length. Exhale, twist. Feeling the left hand pressing into the mat behind you or the floor. The right hand is rooted to the left knee. On your next in-breath, we'll bring both arms up overhead as we untwist, coming back to center. Exhale, hands down towards the heart. From here, we're going to change the cross of the legs one additional time. So we're back to the way that we started, perhaps removing any flesh away from the sit bones. Next inhale, the arms will come all the way out and up. And on an exhale, turn the torso towards the right. The right hand will come down beside you as the left hand comes to touch the right knee. Inhale, lengthen to the spine. Exhale, twist more to the right. Gaze is down. Right hand behind you is rooted to the mat. Both sit bones rooted to the mat. Inhale, length. Exhale, twist. Inhale, length. Exhale, twist. Next inhale, we'll bring both arms up overhead as we untwist, coming back to center. On an exhale, hands come down towards the heart. Next inhale, bring the arms all the way out and up, stretching high towards the ceiling. On an exhale, we're going to fold forward, bringing the hands out in front of you. Walking the hands out, allowing the head to come between the arms, gazing down, both hands onto the mat, both sit bones onto the mat. On an inhale, walk the hands back up towards the body. From here, we're going to slightly change the legs. This time we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. You may have the knees up pretty high towards the chest. That's okay. We want them to be able to float gently down towards the side. If this isn't comfortable for you, you're always welcome to take a block or some pillows or blankets and set them underneath the knees to help give some support for our inner thighs. If you don't need them, you don't need them. On the next inhale, we'll bring the arms all the way out and up. On an exhale, we'll hinge forward, allowing the hands to come down to the mat and then dropping down, sinking into our sit bones as the hips open, the feet press together, the knees are dropping down either onto a pillow or a block or wherever you have support, or just right down towards the mat. So there's not a right or a wrong. Props are not required. Pressing the soles of the feet together, the sit bones into the mat, with the hands pushing into the floor. Allow the chest to come up. And then from here, we're going to allow the chest to come forward. On an exhale, drop the crown of the head towards the soles of the feet. Press the floor away with the hands, stretching through the upper back. Next inhale, we'll pull the chest forward once again and walk the hands or drag them back towards the feet. From here, we'll take the hands to the outsides of the knees, drawing the knees up towards the chest. So sitting now on the sit bones. With your seat here on the sit bones, we're gonna come to the tippy toes. So on your tippy toes, turn sideways. On the tippy toes, we're on the sit bones. We're gonna lean back, maybe drawing the feet up off of the mat. So just hanging out here with the feet off of the mat. If you want to make this a little more challenging, maybe release the hands. So the gaze is still down, maybe towards the knees or towards the floor, just past your knees. Sit bones are rooted. And then allow the feet to come back down to the mat. The hands will also come down to the mat. From here, we're going to walk the feet, wiggle them about hip distance or just slightly wider than hip distance apart. From here, turn the toes out so they're facing away from each other. From then, we'll bring the hands so you can get onto the soles of the feet. So in here in a squat position that's a little bit wider legged with the knees going out to the side. I'll turn sideways once again so you can see. You'll notice my feet are not parallel, they're out to the side, a little more room for the hips. If it's really uncomfortable on the heels and you find that you're sitting way up on the toes, perhaps standing on a blanket in the back. So giving your heels something to root down to. So the hands are still on the mat, the heels are on the mat, we're rooting but we're opening through the hips as well. Gaze is down, energy drawing down, the hands are rooted, the feet are rooted. Then from here, we're going to begin to straighten the legs as the crown of the head comes towards the floor. This will be a standing forward fold. If the hands can't touch the floor, that's a-okay. Perhaps having some props nearby. If your heels are on a blanket, coming in front of the blanket. Just allowing the crown of the head to float down. If there's any tension in the back of the legs, have the knees bent. Feeling the in-breath, filling through the whole body, through the lungs, in the front and the back, up near the collarbones and near the belly. On your next in-breath, we'll flatten out the back, coming up halfway, either with our blocks, our hands to the legs. Sit bones pressing towards the back while the heels are rooting down. Spine is long, gaze is down. So sitting here in this position, or standing here in this position, this is a half forward fold. On an exhale, bend the knees slightly, drop the crown of the head down towards the floor, allowing it to melt down. Feet are firmly rooted into the mat. Hands are touching something, either blocks, the floor, your legs. And then with bent knees, flatten out the back so you'll start to come up. And with the flat back, we're going to come up to standing. So we're just using hip. Here we're extending up through the hips. Spine is now long. Inhale the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale the hands to heart center. Next in-breath, we'll bring the arms all the way out and up once again. Exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale the arms out and up, reaching high for the ceiling. Exhale the hands to heart center. Next in-breath, when we bring the arms out and up, we'll keep them up. Stretch through the armpits, the elbows, through the wrist and the fingers. Feel the length growing between the ribs. On your next inhale, lengthen the spine as long as you can as you push the feet down to the mat. On an exhale, laterally flex the spine now over to the left. We'll allow the left hand to come down to the left leg, and the right arm is going to reach up and over. Gaze is still slightly down, feet are rooted. Inhale. Exhale. Next, inhale, we'll bring the left arm back up towards the ceiling, both arms up long. Exhale, the hands down towards the heart. Inhale the arms out and up, stretching through the fingers, wrist, armpits, ribs. Inhaling nice and long. Exhale. Next in-breath with a super long spine will grow tall, and on an exhale, laterally flex now over to the right. The right hand will slide down the right leg as the left arm reaches up and over. Gaze is slightly down towards the floor. Feet are rooted, so the feet are pressing down into the mat. Next, inhale, bring both arms all the way back up. Exhale, the hands down to heart center. Inhale, the arms out and up. On an exhale, we're going to swan dive forward. On an inhale, flatten out the back, coming up halfway, either using blocks or your hands once again. Gaze is down, feet are rooted, spine is long. Exhale, fold all the way back down towards the mat. Bend your knees enough so your hands can touch the mat. From here, we're going to step the right leg back to the top of a runner's lunge. So the hands should be on the mat, as should the left foot and right toes. If you feel like blocks would help make the ground a little higher, you're welcome to use blocks. Pressing the right heel away. We want a 90-degree bend in the front knee, with the front knee directly over the front ankle. So gaze is down, feet are rooted, abdominals engaged. From here, we'll drop the right knee down to the ground. We're going to sink the weight now back over the right knee as we straighten the left leg. If you feel any tenderness in the right knee, I'll invite you to quickly grab some padding. If you have carpet or a squishy mat, you may not need it. So we're sitting back with the weight over the right knee. The left leg is long. And then if you'd like to add on, maybe peeling the left toes off of the mat, drawing them towards the torso. From here, flatten out the left foot as you draw the weight forward. So we're on the back knee this time, but the front knee is directly over the front ankle. Gaze is still down, spine is long. Feeling a nice opening through the back hip flexor. Then from here, we'll bring weight back slightly into the back leg so we can bring both knees back to the mat. From here, we'll come all the way up to kneeling. On an inhale, bringing the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, the arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more, inhaling out and up. Exhaling the hands to the heart. Then from here, we'll bend forward once again, hands to the blocks or to the floor. We'll bring the right foot forward this time. We're going to curl the back toes under, coming into a lunge on the opposite side. So front knee is right over front ankle. We're pressing down into the floor, either blocks or the floor. Left heel is pushing away through the straight left leg. Gaze is down. Both feet are rooted. Spine is long. With smooth, steady breath, we'll drop back down to the back knee. Then from here, we're going to straighten the front leg as we shift the weight now right over the back knee. The front leg is straight. If you'd like to add on, maybe peeling the front toes off of the mat. Right toes towards right shin. Next in-breath, we'll draw the right foot flat onto the mat, coming forward into the hip flexor of the back leg. So the hands are still on the ground. We have 4 points touching the mat, the back leg, the front foot, both hands either on blocks or on the floor. Then from here, on your next breath, we're going to slowly begin to shift some weight towards the back knee so we can bring the right knee back next to the left. Removing the blocks out from the side, coming to hands and knees. From hands and knees, on an exhale, we'll come into cat posture, dropping the head in between the arms, gazing towards the navel. Inhaling, coming forward into a cow. And we're going to move 5 more times to your breath. So cat and cow. And 4 more, moving to what feels right and like it takes a whole breath for you. After your 6th totals, we did 1 together and 5 on our own, coming to find a neutral spine. And with the neutral spine, the gaze is still down, the chest is broad. If this is uncomfortable on your hands, you're always welcome to come to fist or down to elbows. So again, modifying for whatever is appropriate for you. From here, we're going to keep the left knee on the floor and extend the right leg straight back, right heel pressing away, right gluteus muscle, the buttocks muscle engaged. So we have full engagement, the right toes on the ground, left knee on the ground, both hands on the ground, very grounded. Stable. And then if you'd like to add on a little bit of balance, we'll lift the left or the right leg up, the back leg up, extending through the right heel if the right leg is lifted. If the right leg is still on the floor, the right heel is still pressing away. And then placing the right knee back onto the ground, coming through 1 cat posture, and then pulling forward to a neutral spine. So neither cat nor cow. As we then extend the left leg back, left toes on the ground, left heel fiercely pressing away as both hands or elbows or fists pressed into the mat. So again, 4 points touching now. Hands, left foot, right knee. With the gaze down, if you'd like to add on with the strong abdominals, maybe lifting the left leg up. If the left leg is lifted, the left heel is pressing away. If the left toes are on the ground, the left heel is still pressing away. Bringing the left knee back down to the ground, exhaling into a cat. Inhaling forward to a neutral spine. On your next exhale, we're going to arch through cat as we sit back towards child's pose, allowing the forehead to come down towards the ground, perhaps to your stacked fist, perhaps to a block or a fake block, whatever we're using today as props. Feeling rooted and grounded. With that rooted and grounded here in our child's pose, I'm going to invite the bell 3 more times. So just following along with the sound of the bell here in our child's pose, just breathing and listening. Continuing to follow your breath as you follow the sound of the bell. On your next in-breath, we'll gently look up. From here, we're going to slide forward onto the belly. If you have a blanket, ensuring that it's under your hips. If you don't have a blanket yet and you wish for one, remember a blanket or a towel all work nicely. When we get down here with the hips onto the ground, we're going to extend the arms forward and long. The gaze is still down even though the chin is slightly lifted. From here, we're going to extend the right leg up towards the ceiling slightly. The right toes are pointed, like you're trying to poke a hole through the wall behind you. Right hip is very grounded onto the mat. Then lowering the right leg down. From here, we'll then take a deep breath in as the left hip presses down, the left leg lifts up, left toes are pointed. Take one more breath. On an exhale, left toes come down to the mat. Now we're going to stack the palms, one on top of the other, placing the forehead onto the mat. So I won't keep my forehead there, you won't be able to hear me, but your forehead should be down onto the mat. Next, in-breath from here. We're going to lift the right toes off of the mat, once again, just like we did. So the right hip is on the ground. Feeling the belly and the ribs pressing into the mat. If this is uncomfortable, have a bend in the back knee and do not lift the thigh off of the mat. Just bend the knee and maybe consider lifting it up slightly and coming back down. Otherwise, with the right toe pointed, we're extending out through the right leg. Perhaps the right leg is lifted off of the mat. Forehead still grounded onto your stacked palms. And then slowly lowering the right leg down to the mat. Feeling the hips and the ribs and the belly on the mat. From here, we're going to look up slightly, taking the forehead off of the hands and changing the hands. So what was ever once on the bottom will now be on the top. Allowing the forehead to come back down to the mat. Then from here, with the forehead onto the palms, reaching both legs out long, feeling the thighs and the hips and the ribs on the mat, grounded. Keeping the right toes grounded into the mat, pointing through the left toes, maybe lifting the left toes off of the mat, maybe the left knee, maybe the left thigh. Wherever we are, we're still keeping the left hip rooted to the mat. So with the hips rooted, the spine long, extending through the legs, feeling that extension out through the left leg, feeling that through the ankle as well, the top of the ankle with the pointed toe. Remembering that in your practice, you always have permission to skip a pose, to modify a pose, exhaling the left leg all the way back down. So just pausing for a moment as the body relevels. Then from here, we're going to press into the hands and draw the elbows underneath the shoulders. So the elbows will be right under the shoulders. The palms will be flat onto the mat. The hips are on the mat. The legs are on the mat. The toes are on the mat. The gaze is down near the fingertips or slightly in front. So pressing down into the hips, inhaling length into the spine. And then on an exhale, we'll maintain the length, but maybe imagine that the chest wants to come slightly more forward. This is a cobra. So imagine a snake if he was slithering along. Very rooted and grounded as his whole body touches the mat. And then occasionally just allows the head to come up. Then from here, bring the elbows out to the side as the head comes down to the mat, allowing the right cheek to come to the mat. And then wiggling out the body gently from side to side. And then switching over to the left cheek to the mat, just wiggling out the body gently from side to side. Then turning the forehead back towards the mat, bringing the palms right underneath the armpit area. From here, we're going to push up and back to kneeling. So coming into a kneeling position, on an exhale, rounding through the spine, coming into the cat posture, and then through the cat, push all the way back to child's pose. So working in an opposite position of where we just were. Flexion and extension of the spine. On your next in-breath, coming all the way back up to hands and knees. Here in hands and knees position, ensuring that the abdominals are engaged and the chest is broad and open, but as are the back. So we want to be sure we're not collapsing in the shoulders. Everything is engaged and firm, rooted and pressing down. From here, we're going to move to thread the needle pose. This is how opens up our shoulders. So if you have any discomfort in your neck or in the shoulders, perhaps considering a different posture. So from here, on an in-breath, we're going to keep the left hand onto the ground, but inhale the right arm first up towards the ceiling, or gazing at the right hand and keeping the gaze following the right hand as the needle threads between the left hand and the left knee, and we slide the right arm out to the left side. Come all the way onto the right shoulder and the right cheek. You might want to move the left hand slightly out of the way. If you're not feeling anything in the right shoulder area, maybe a little weight into the left hand, pushing a little towards the right. If you know any variants of this posture, to add them. There's many. So whatever variants you might know, I won't be cueing them. And then to come out of this posture, press into the left hand. We'll then extend the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling once again. Still rooted down to the ground. We'll then follow the right hand all the way back down to the ground. Pausing here in a neutral spine. Observing the difference between the right and left sides of the body. Then as we prepare for side two, feeling rooted into the right hand, we'll extend the left arm up towards the ceiling. The gaze will follow the left hand. And then the gaze will follow the left hand as it comes down, and it comes in between the right hand and right wrist, and it slides out to the side as we come down to the left shoulder, the left cheek, moving the right hand wherever is helpful to keep the stretch appropriate. So we're working on the left shoulder, but if there's any discomfort in the neck, please come out of the posture. Remembering that you can always place weight into the right hand, help press the floor away and move a little towards the left. Just being careful that we're not creating tension somewhere in the body while we're working to relieve tension in another place. With the smooth, steady, rhythmic breath, we'll press into the right hand once again. We'll then draw the left arm up towards the ceiling, following it with the gaze, and then following the gaze all the way back down to the left hand, coming back to the neutral spine. And then from the neutral spine, we'll once again take the right leg back behind us, right toes onto the ground. Then from here, pivot the right toes down to the ground so the instep of the right foot comes to the ground. We'll then take the left leg and kick it out to the side. With the gaze staying down at the left hand, we'll then extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. So gaze is down, right arm is up. Take a deep breath here. And on an exhale, right hand will come back down to the ground. We'll pivot the left leg back onto the right toes once again. The right leg is still behind. And then drawing the right toes back down to the mat. From a neutral spine, we'll then take the left toes back. Left toes stay on the mat, left heel presses away. From here, we'll bring the instep of the left foot down to the mat, pivot the right leg out to the right. With the gaze staying down, we'll extend the left arm up towards the ceiling. So the gaze is down even though the left fingertips are going up. Taking one more breath here. On an exhale, left hand will come back down towards the ground. We'll bring the right leg back, coming onto the left toes, left heel pressing away once again. And then dropping down to the left knee. On an exhale, come into cat posture. Inhale forward to cow. Two more cat and cows to your breath. Exhaling to cat. Inhaling to cow. And exhaling to cat once again. From here, we'll sit back onto the heels and then sit over to one side, the right or the left, so we can bring the legs out long in front. From here, you might wish for the blanket that you once had to help bring the hips up a little bit higher. So folding the blanket in any way, I'll turn to face so you can see as we sit here onto the mat, we'll extend the legs out long. So with the legs out long, we'll then extend the arms up overhead. So pressing down through the sit bones, pressing out through the heels, the gaze is down towards the toes, the chest is open, but the arms are reaching up. Then from here, gently bend the knees. So they're not locked. There's a gentle bend in the knees as you hinge forward, bringing the hands towards the ankles so they can come to the thighs, the ankles, feet, wherever they come. And on an inhale, pull the chest forward. So we're flattening out the back. The gaze is still down. Sit bones rooted, heels rooted. On an in-breath, come all the way up. Sliding the hands up to the legs. From here, we're going to bend the right knee, and then we're going to take take the right ankle and cross it over the left knee thigh area. So we've made a number 4 shape with the legs. Then from here, we're gonna bend the left knee. So we're gonna notice that both legs begin to come closer towards you. The hands can be behind you to help push you forward. The hands can come forward and help draw the legs in. So we're folded into this tiny little ball. And then you can begin to play with where the right leg sits. So maybe sliding the right leg a little more across the left, but the right foot should be flexed. So it's not hanging out. Right foot is flexed. We're working on getting a stretch on the outside of the right butt cheek area, the piriformis area. Taking 3 more beautiful breaths in here, inhaling and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 1 more inhale and an exhale. From here, we'll release hold of wherever the hands are, place them safely out so you can stretch the left leg out long. We're then going to take the right leg that's already crossed over and we're going to place the right foot on the outside of the left leg. If that's not comfortable, you can keep it on the inside, so it's your choice. But with the leg on the outside or inside, from here, we'll take both hands to the right knee. Inhale the spine long. Gaze is still forward towards your left toes. The spine is long, the chest is proud. With the hands here, we're gonna then slide the left arm so the left elbow comes to the right knee. And then it's like we're hugging our own knee, maybe pulling the belly away from the thigh. And then bring the right hand behind you. The gaze is down and slightly forward, feeling rooted through both sit bones. As you inhale, imagine length in the spine, and as you exhale, it's like you wish to hug your left knee or your right knee a little bit closer. Taking 1 more breath here. And then on an exhale, we're going to slowly unwind. Coming back, we'll then extend both legs out long. With a gentle bend in the knees, on an inhale, we'll bring the arms out and up and hinge forward, again coming towards the ankles, using the hands touching the legs to help pull the chest forward. Then sliding the hands all the way back up the legs. From here, with both feet being flexed, we'll bend the left knee. We'll then cross the left ankle over the right knee thigh area, making a number 4 shape with our legs. You can stay here. It's the energy that the left knee is pushing down that'll help stretch the outside of the left butt cheek area. But if you'd like to add on, maybe bending the right knee, the hands can come behind you, the hands can come in front of you, wherever helps you to feel a nice little stretch on the outside. This would be a posture similar to our pigeon pose. So notice you keep staying in it, but if I were to come forward, the leg stays here, this one just comes behind. So it's a very similar posture to pigeon. We're just sitting upright. For many, this is more accessible and they're able to feel a little bit more on the outside of the butt cheek of the close-in leg. So inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. And exhale. From here, we're going to release the legs, so safely moving the arms wherever you need to. We'll bring the right leg back out long. We're then going to take the left leg and allow it to continue sliding over the right. Remember, always an option to keep the left leg on the inside. Then from here, bringing both hands to the left knee. Inhale, lots of length in the spine, And on your exhale, we're gonna slide the right elbow to the left knee, like we're hugging our own knee. And then we'll bring the left hand behind. Gaze is down and forward, sit bones rooted, but the crown of the head is still light and floating up while we're grounding down. So on an in-breath, we'll lengthen through the spine, and on an exhale, we'll twist slightly more towards our hugged-in leg. Inhaling, exhaling, twisting. Inhale and exhale. As you unwind, we'll come back towards the twisted leg. Inhale, lengthen, and on an exhale, we'll bring both legs back out long. Heels are flexed through the ankles. On an in-breath, we'll bring the arms all the way out and up with a little bend in the knees, hinging forward. Hands come to feet, ankles, calves, wherever they come. Use the hands to pull into the legs to lengthen out the spine. Gaze is still down and forward, just past the toes. Inhaling as you come all the way up. From here, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together into cobbler pose, allowing the knees to float out to the side. Again, there's an option to take blocks or pillows and place them underneath the thighs if that feels more appropriate and comfortable for the inner thighs. Sometimes this can be intense for folks. And it's also okay if your knees are up pretty high. So we're just going to work wherever you are today. So take a deep breath in to lengthen the spine, and on an exhale, we're going to hinge forward. So perhaps walking the hands forward wherever feels appropriate for you. Gaze down, sit bones rooted, thighs open. And an inhale, walk all the way back up. From here, we're going to take the blocks, if you have them, or your props out from the side. And we're going to move now on towards the back. So when you come off of your blanket, if you're sitting on it, we'll set it off to the side. And we're going to gently and carefully come down to lying onto the back. Once you get here, lengthen on an inhale through the spine, and on an exhale, bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, and draw the knees towards the chest. Take a deep breath in to lengthen the spine, and on an exhale, we'll bring the legs up towards the ceiling. If you happen to have a wall nearby, you can scooch your buttocks towards a wall. If you happen to have a couch nearby, I'll move down to this couch. You're always welcome to bring the buttocks towards the couch and then extend the feet up onto the couch. So for some, keeping the legs up for a long time, we do want the buttocks to be up near the wall or couch if you can. But for some, keeping the legs up for too long begins to cause some discomfort or maybe numbing in the feet. So we're just helping to reverse gravity slightly, feeling the hips rooted, whether the feet are just straight up in the air, on a couch, or against a wall. Allowing the attention to come inward. And then allowing the eyes to close. With the eyes closed, we'll invite the sound of the bell 3 times. So just following the bell with the eyes closed and a focus on the breath. And then lengthen the legs out long. For those with the feet on a wall or the feet on a couch, you're welcome to keep them here if you would like. And then we're going to begin to move into Shavasana, or final relaxation. So either legs up the wall, Shavasana, legs on the couch, or lengthening out long on the mat. So finding whatever position feels good and right for you today. And maintaining that inward focus, allowing the eyes to stay closed if they're not already closed. Letting go of any ujjayi or breath control. And then just focusing on allowing the body to integrate our practice. Quickly scanning through the body, noticing if there's any points of tension that you're holding. Often we're holding one of our cheeks, either the butt cheeks or the cheeks on our jaw, letting them both go, just relaxing. The brow, the eyes, maybe gently wiggling the tongue in the mouth, ensuring we don't have the jaw tightly closed. The abdominals are relaxed and comfortable, and the body is at ease. Here in Shavasana, taking 3 more deep breaths, each one becoming deeper and longer. After your 3rd breath, gently bend your knees and place your feet onto the floor. So if your legs were up the wall or on a couch, drawing them in towards the chest. And then everyone in your own time, roll over to your favorite side, pausing in a fetal position, perhaps allowing the lower arm to cradle your head, while your upper arm wraps around the body, giving yourself a gentle hug. Here in this posture, returning to your intention, I'll read a short poem by Dana Falls, Just by Breathing. With each breath I take in all the unique outpourings of spirit and the eloquent expressiveness of now. With each breath out, I let all my disempowerment and doubt, my arm's length distance from the infinite and real. And just by breathing, I am healed. When you're ready, gently press yourself up to a comfortable upright seated posture, perhaps allowing the eyes to remain closed. And then either placing your hands comfortably onto your lap or bringing your hands together at Anjali Mudra at Heart Center. May your heart be filled with love, peace, kindness, and compassion. Allow your thumbs to float up and touch your lips. May only kind, loving, peaceful, compassionate words pass from your lips. Allowing your thumbs to float up and to touch your third eye or the space in between your eyebrows. May only kind, loving, peaceful, compassionate thoughts fill your mind. Allowing your arms to float up overhead. May all of your peace, love, kindness, and compassion shower down upon you and then go out to your friends, families, loved ones, strangers, enemies, to all beings in need, and to all beings who are suffering. Slowly and gently bringing your hands back down to Heart Center, taking with a little bit of the universal peace, love, kindness, and compassion, and placing it into your heart where it resides always. Thank you for honoring me with your presence and your practice, and thank you for allowing me to share my teacher's teachings with you.